Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my podcasting gear. So if you didn't know, me and a couple buddies, Sid Warren and Hunter Baumgartner, started a podcast and we uploaded our first episode on November 19th. So if you haven't already, you can go check that out. The links will be down in the description below. But today I just wanted to sit down and talk about some of the gear I had to buy in order to start this podcast. But first, I just wanted to go into like what the podcast is about and kind of how it came to be. So the podcast is called The Young Adult's Guide to Planet Earth. That was kind of just a name that we brainstormed based on both Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and my first thought was Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Basically, it's a podcast where we just kind of talk about really any topic, and it's the focus of the podcast is to have what we call conversations of significance. And what that means is we want to go deeper and kind of try to figure things out through good conversation. So I think a lot of times nowadays we kind of just get caught up in being able to text our friends or just keep up with them on social media, and we don't really sit down and have like good long conversation. And that's kind of what this podcast is for me, Sid and Hunter, is just an hour that we get to sit down with each other and just dive deep into a topic and just catch up with each other every week. Before this, I didn't really know a ton about how to start a podcast, and so I had to do some research and find what kind of microphone I needed and whatever else I needed and how to upload the podcast and how to edit the podcast and all these things. So today I just wanted to make a video and go over the equipment that I bought. It's really just two pieces of equipment, and only one of them is really necessary if you want to start your own podcast or if you just want to have a nice microphone in order to, I don't know, stream even. So let's get into that right now. So the first thing that I was focused on, obviously, was a microphone. That's really the only thing I really thought I might need. It ended up I needed a mixer board as well, or at least an interface to be able to record multiple microphones or whatever. But so the microphone was really the first thing I looked into. And probably about a year ago, actually, I listened to this podcast called The Audacity to Podcast, basically a podcast on how to podcast. And he had an episode about beginner podcasting gear and just like the best, not necessarily the cheapest, but the best bang for your buck podcasting gear. And that's kind of where I found this microphone that I'm talking into right now, and a couple of the other things that, or one of the other things I bought, and a couple of the other things I might get in the future. So I'll actually link that episode to that podcast down in the link below. But the microphone I ended up getting is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 USB. This microphone is a USB microphone, so it can be plugged directly into the computer, but it also has an XLR output, so you can plug it into a mixer board, you can plug it into a digital recorder. It really gives you a lot of flexibility on how you can use the microphone, and it doesn't really tie you down to just being able to use it with your computer or just being able to use it with a mixer board or whatever. So this microphone comes in on Amazon. If you just get the microphone without anything else, it's a $70 microphone, which for the way it sounds, and you can actually hear right now, I'm talking into it, for the bang for your buck, I mean, some people would not be able to tell the difference between this $70 microphone and maybe like a $200 microphone. Has a very good sound quality for the price. There's actually, if you are interested in this mic, there's a couple bundles on Amazon for $89 that have like either headphones or a better microphone stand. I've got mine on this boom arm so that it's able to, I can have a lot of flexibility on how to, or where it's positioned. But actually it comes with a little stand, so you don't even need to buy a stand. It comes with a stand out of the box. And also I bought this, I don't know if you can see it, this pop filter, this windscreen that goes on it that helps like the pops and hisses that come out in conversation or when you're talking. And so the whole package, if you were to get like a boom arm and the pop filter, it would only come in at like $90. So it's a very, very good value for the quality you're going to get from the microphone. And it's a great, great setup for like a first-time podcaster, or even if you want to get started on YouTube doing voiceovers, or if you want to start streaming on Twitch or something, this is a really good microphone to get started with. So the second piece of equipment that I didn't know if I was going to need in the very beginning, but decided that I did need was a mixer board. This is something that's going to allow me to plug in multiple inputs and have them all streaming to the same output. So it just makes it a lot easier on me. I don't have to sync up the audio afterwards. It all just kind of records together. So the mixer board I ended up getting is the Xenix 1204 USB. And this is going to allow me to plug in multiple inputs, and it's a USB mixer, so I can actually plug it straight into my computer and record into whatever recording software I choose. I record into Audacity, but there are plenty out there that you can record into. Audacity is probably the best because it's free and it's suggested by everybody. But this USB mixer came in at $150, and I didn't know if I wanted to drop $150 right at the beginning, right when we were starting, but this has actually come in handy. I've been able to use my mic, plug it into the mixer board, and plug it into my computer and use it for Twitch streaming, and it just gives me a lot more control over the volume. You have bass, mid, and high. You can mess around with all that stuff. It has compression. It's got a lot of good stuff going on, and so there's some cheaper options out there. So this is a 12 input mixer, and I wanted to get a bigger mixer so that in the future I can grow with it, and I didn't want to be stuck with only 4 inputs or 8 inputs or whatever. So I went for the 12 input mixer, but there are actually some cheaper options out there. There are mixers with only one XLR input that can run you $50, and that's a good option if you're just wanting an interface to use your microphone on your computer, or if you're just doing a one-man show, or you're just doing voiceovers and things like that. So with these 2 pieces of equipment, and Hunter and Sid both actually bought their own microphones, so I didn't have to worry about getting microphones for all of us. But basically, it's an easy setup. We all set our microphones up, plug them into the mixer, plug that into the computer, press record, and we're good to go. It's a very, very simple process. And when it comes to editing, I use Adobe Audition, which is a very, very powerful, good piece of software, which is not that necessary for audio mixing a podcast. The reason I have it is because I use Premiere, and I use the other, like Photoshop and Illustrator a lot to edit graphics and things like that. So I pay for the whole Creative Suite, which for me as a student is $20 a month. So I get a lot of value out of it, so I don't mind paying that. But if you're just wanting to like mix a podcast or do any recording, really you can just get by with using Audacity, which is a free program, and it's very powerful. That's what I use to record anyways. I don't even use Audition to record because I actually record on a different computer that I don't have Audition on, and it's just fine recording on Audacity. So if you're interested in any of the products that I've talked about, if you're interested in getting into streaming or recording a podcast or doing voiceovers for a YouTube video or whatever, go down in the description below, and I'll have all of these products linked so you can go find them really easily. We've had a ton of fun recording this podcast, and I really suggest you go give it a listen. Basically, what we're trying to do is create conversation within a community. We're trying to build a community that can have discussion on deeper topics. And a lot of times nowadays that doesn't happen on the internet, and we're really trying to cultivate that kind of community. So if you go down in the description below, you'll find we have it on YouTube, we have it on Apple Podcast, Google Play, and Castbox. You can find all of our episodes there and give it a listen. And if you have any suggestions for us and for the podcast, any suggestions for topics or whatever, just go down in the comments and let us know. We'll definitely be reading those and bringing in suggestions from the community, because that's like the reason we're doing this is to start a conversation. So if you're trying to start a conversation with us in the comments or on Twitter or on Instagram, we're going to respond to that. So if you want to follow Young Adults Guide to Planet Earth on Twitter, you go follow at Young Adult Guide. Instagram is at Young Adults Guide. And I'll have that in the description below as well. And also follow me on those platforms, and you can see I'll be updating when we post or when we upload our podcast. So thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, go leave a like on it. If you want to subscribe so that you can know when I upload, then press the subscribe button and make sure you ding that bell, because that's going to help you be notified and know when to upload videos. And just go leave a comment down below. I like to start conversations, and we can have a conversation down there in the comments. So, yeah. If you have any questions for me, just tweet at me, at Clayton Hamrick. Do all the things you do on YouTube. So until next week and until next time, have a good day, have a good week, and I'll see you then.